A very good afternoon. It's the 7th of November 2023. Welcome to the lunchtime news here on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Sanita Senanayaka. Before we take a look at the stories in detail, let's take a look at the headlines. Supreme Court determination on the online safety bill directed to Parliament. President's or cabinet approval is not necessary to appoint the Sri Lanka Cricket Interim Committee, says Sports Minister. Flood warnings remain for many areas as heavy rainfall is expected. Postal workers are on strike from midnight. The 7th edition of the Gum at the Door-to-Door program commences. More than 4,000 children were killed in Gaza as Israel-Hamas war intensifies. First up in your breaking news, the Court of Appeal has issued an order preventing the enforcement of the Gazette on the appointment of an interim committee for Sri Lanka cricket. The order was made after considering a writ application filed by Sri Lanka Cricket Shami Silva on Tuesday. The order issued by the Court of Appeal is in effect for a period of 14 days. On to your top story in the Bulletin, Sri Lanka's Sports Minister Roshan Ranasinghe has said that the approval of the President or the Cabinet of Ministers is not necessary for the appointment of an interim committee for Sri Lanka cricket. He said on Tuesday that he appointed the interim committee for Sri Lanka cricket as per the powers vested in him as the Minister of Sports.
There are certain
matters that require cabinet approval. There are also certain matters that require the President's approval. However, there is no such requirement for the appointment of an interim committee. I made the appointment as per the powers vested in me. When the matter was raised in the Cabinet of Ministers, it was decided to appoint a committee to bring forward a constitutional amendment and also include input from esteemed former cricketers. It will be chaired by Minister Ali Sabri.
ක්‍රීඩකයින් ගෙන්නලා අදහස් ගන්න කමිටුවක් පත් කරා අලි ශබ්රි ඇමතුමාගේ ප්‍රධානත්වයේ ඒක තමයි උනේ කැබිනට් මැදේ ජනාධිපතිතුමා කිව්වේ නැද්ද ඔබතුමා ඇයි මෙහෙම කළේ කියලා ඉතින් කරේ ඉතින්
There is nothing new today. The corruption was highlighted. I believe the President, Prime Minister, Cabinet and the entire nation is aware of the malpractices that were committed. We do not know the extent of their corrupt practices.
මුර පේන්නේ කොච්චරද කියලා.
එතකොට දැන් මේ ජනාධිපතිවරයා ආපහු කැබිනට් අනුකම්පිටුවක් පත් කරලා තියෙනවා නේද මේ පිළිබඳව සභාව.
ඒකනේ මම දැන් කිව්වේ අනුකම්පිටුවක් පත් කරලා.
That is what I said. A subcommittee was appointed to include input from esteemed former players and also introduce a constitutional amendment.
වේදේ ගැන සාකච්ඡා කරන්න.
ඔබතුමාගේ අනුකම්පිටුවක් නැතිලා
ඉතින් ඇමතිකම නෙමෙයිනේ වැඩේනේ වෙන්න ඕන.
That is not important. The task at hand is more important. As long as I am minister, I will engage in this task. There is no point in trying to only secure my position. I am rendering a service for the nation and the people. That is why the people of Polonnaruwa voted me in. They want me to perform well. I will perform, and there is no doubt about it. The President can fire me if he wishes. It is his decision, and my duty is to rid the sport of corruption and fraud. There are many who cannot even afford shoes in the country. These people cannot misuse public funds. If the President, Attorney General and the police assist me, all of these persons would be imprisoned for years. The entire committee will be in prison.
Sri Lanka Sports Minister Roshan Ranasinghe issued an extraordinary gazette to suspend the registration of Sri Lanka cricket under Section 32 and 33 of the sports law. In addition, the Sports Minister decided to appoint an interim committee for the purpose of exercising the powers, functions and duties of Sri Lanka cricket until an election is held until further notice. Former Sri Lanka cricket captain Arjuna Ranatunga was appointed as the chairman of the interim committee. The other members of the committee are S.I. Imam, retired Supreme Court Judge, Rohini Marasinghe, retired Supreme Court Judge, Irangani Pereira, retired High Court Judge, H.K. Upali Dharmadasa, Rakita Nirmala Rajapaksa, Attorney at Law, M.H. Jamaldeen. In a significant development, the Cabinet of Ministers decided to appoint a special subcommittee with a mandate to examine the current situation and work in collaboration with the relevant stakeholders, including input from esteemed former cricketers. The primary objective of this subcommittee is to recommend immediate, viable measures to resolve the outstanding issues in Sri Lanka cricket. The members of this subcommittee include Ali Sabri, Minister of Foreign Affairs as the chairman, and Kanchana Wijesekara, Minister of Power and Energy, Manusha Nayakara, Minister of Labour, Tiran Alas, Minister of Public Security as its members.
Speaking in Parliament today, opposition leader Sajith Premadasa expressed the following views regarding cricket.
මේ වෙනකොට අපිට දැනගන්න ලැබිලා තියෙනවා මේ අභියාචනාධිකරණය ස්ටේ ඕඩර් එකක් දීලා තියෙනවා මේ දින 14කට සස්පෙන්ඩ් කරලා මේ ඉන්ටරිම් කමිටි එක. දැන් ගරු
The Court of Appeal has issued an order suspending the interim committee for 14 days. Cricket cannot continue like this. Can Sri Lanka cricket win like this? The main reason for this is the mess inside the government. The President and the Sports Minister are making contrasting decisions. The Sports Minister has the power to take decisions. The Sports Minister has acted according to the relevant regulations. There could be issues regarding the composition of the interim committee. That is a different story. The Sports Minister must give a proper statement regarding this issue. We heard that the President appointed a cabinet subcommittee yesterday to inquire whether the decision taken by the Sports Minister is right or wrong. What are these jokes? I am a cricketer as well. I played cricket in my school days. We love the sport. The interim committee has now been suspended by a court order. How can this continue? You must urge the President and the Minister to provide a full statement regarding this to the Chamber. We as the opposition are ready to come together. All 225 MPs must come together and reach an agreement regarding cricket. The first agreement must be to remove political influence from the sport. Politicians are influencing the advisory committees. But before all of that, the Sports Minister must provide a statement. The President and the government must be responsible for this.
ජනාධිපතිවරයාටයි දෙන්නටම මේ සභාවට ඇවිල්ලා මේ ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ක්‍රිකට් ක්‍රීඩාව පිළිබඳව මේ සාමූහික වගකීමක් සාමූහික තීන්දුවක්.
The Supreme Court of Sri Lanka delivered its determination on the online safety bill to the Parliament, and the determination was announced by Deputy Speaker Ajit Rajapaksa.
I would
like to inform the Parliament that the determination of the Supreme Court on the bill titled Online Safety Bill, which was challenged in the Supreme Court in terms of Article 121(1) of the Constitution, was received by the Speaker. The constitutionality of the bill as determined by the Supreme Court is as follows. Article 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 12, 73, 74, 75, 16, 17, 18, 79, 20, 27, 22, 23, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 36, 37, 42, 45, 53 and 56 are required to be passed in Parliament by a special majority as required by Article 84(2) of the Constitution. However, if clauses 3, 5, 7, 9, 17, 72, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 36, 37, 42, 45, 53 and 56 are amended at the committee stage in Parliament subject to the determinations made in respect of several clauses referred to above. This bill may be passed in Parliament with the simple majority. Subject to the above, the Supreme Court has determined that none of the provisions in the bill are inconsistent with the Constitution. Therefore, the bill can be passed by a simple majority in Parliament subject to the amendments stated above.
ශේෂාධිකරණයේ තීරණය අද දින කාර්යසටහන් දැක්කෙන් නිල වාර්තාවේ මුද්‍රණය කළ යුතුයි මම නියෝග කරමි.
In your weather update for this afternoon, the Irrigation Department says that the water levels in Dadroya is rising steadily. The Director of Hydrology and Disaster Management at the Department of Irrigation, SPC Sugishwara, said that flood warnings for low-lying areas of the Dadroya remains in effect. He also warned that the flood warnings of the Attanagalu and the Nilvala River also remain in effect.
Owing to showery conditions, four sluice gates of the Dadroya reservoir have been opened. According to the irrigation engineer of the reservoir, 8 sluice gates were opened last night. Floodgates of the Muruthuwala Reservoir in Hambantota have been opened. According to Newsfirst correspondent, byroads in Rannalena Mulla have been flooded. A woman was injured after a shop in Valimada Bandaravela Road collapsed following heavy showers last night. According to Newsfirst correspondent, the woman was the owner of the shop. Heavy rains and strong winds damaged several houses in Horana. Several residences in the Meedella Hena Mawata in Horana were damaged. The landslide warnings issued for multiple areas across 6 districts remain in effect. The level 2 warning for the Haputale and Haldumulla Divisional Secretariat divisions and surrounding areas remain in effect. In addition, multiple areas in the Hambantota, Kandy, Kegol, Mathura and Ratnapura were issued with a level 1 warning earlier and it remains in effect. The Met Department said that showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in most provinces of the island after 1 p.m. Fairly heavy showers above 75 mm are likely at some places in the western, central, Sabragamur, northwestern and Ua provinces.
The 7th edition of the Gum at the Door-to-Door program commenced today. Gum at the teams visited the districts of Jaffna, Trincomalee and Kalutara.
Gum at the Made in Sri Lanka.
Members of the University of Peradeniya also joined the 7th edition of the Gum at the Door-to-Door program. The Gum at the team in the Kalutara district toured the Keselvatha area in Panadura first. Many people in the Diggala road in Keselvatha face many issues owing to the lack of infrastructure facilities. They pointed out that during the rainy season, their houses get inundated. They also said the reason is the disorganized manner of construction of the drainage system in the area. Their only request is that this issue be solved as soon as possible. The Gum at the teams also toured the Trincomalee district today. Residents of the Wal Urukottam village in Periyakkulam Gramanildari division pointed out the issues they face on a daily basis. Members of the Gum at the team recognized the issues these people face in travelling due to the dilapidated conditions of the roads in the area. The Gum at the team touring the Jaffna district first arrived at the Maradan Karni and Mulyan areas. One of the main issues they face is the releasing of generational land. The Gum at the Door-to-Door teams will inquire into the plight of the people of Jaffna, Trincomalee and Kalutara districts throughout the day.
Gum at the Made in Sri Lanka.
Newsfirst with the people.
The Lanka Postal Services Union has decided to engage in a nationwide strike. Lanka Postal Services Union President Jagat Mahinda said that the strike will be in effect for a period of 48 hours with effect from midnight on Tuesday. He said the decision was taken against the government's move to convert the Nuwara Eliya post office into a hotel. Preparations are being made to convert the Nuwara Eliya post office into a hotel. Therefore, we will go on strike for 48 hours with effect from midnight. We will not engage in any operation related to postal service. We will stage a massive protest with the people of Nuwara Eliya, mass organizations and the Mahasangha.
Leader of the Janasetha Peramuna, Venerable Battaramulle Seelaratana Thero, expressed the following views regarding plans to give away the Nuwara Postal Office to a hotel.
The president is preparing to turn the historic Nuwara Postal Office into a hotel. He is influencing the Postmaster General. They do not have to do what you are saying. That is because you are a temporary president. Remember that. Who selected this office for that purpose? Was it done to satisfy the IMF or was it done to satisfy their parliamentary group? Whose effort is this?
කාලික ජනාධිපතිවරයෙක් මිසක් මෙරට සම්පූර්ණම රාජකෙනෙක් නෙමෙයි කියන එක මතක තියාගන්න.
Many factions have pointed out that the people continue to suffer from the harsh economic conditions while the government is allowing its close associates to gain benefits. Against such a backdrop, views regarding the sugar tax increase from 25 cents to 50 rupees were expressed by several factions.
රාජපක්ෂලා එදා 725ට බද්ද අඩු කරලා දුන්නු වාසිය රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ ආයේ නැවත රුපියල් 50.
The tax benefit the Rajapakshas gave by reducing the tax to 25 cents has increased to 50 rupees. The government does not have a logic for this increase in sugar price. They don't have a reason. Why did they increase the tax so suddenly?
සිද්ධ කරන්න මොකද්ද ඇති වෙච්ච හේතුව?
50 වැඩි කරපුවාම ඒ ආණ්ඩුව වලට සහ මේ නිලධාරීන්ට හිතවත්.
When it was increased to 50 rupees, those close to the government stockpiled sugar. This tax was imposed to benefit those close to the government. Check the storage facilities of the sugar distributors. We urge the Consumer Affairs Authority and the Trade Minister to stop these racketeers. Therefore, get involved and track them down and issue their sugar stocks to the market.
කියනවා මේ ජාවාරම්කාරයෝ මේ මොහොතේ අධික ලාභයක් ලබාගෙන සීනි විකුණනවා. ඒ නිසා වහාම මැදිහත් වෙලා ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ ඔය තියෙන වැටලීම් යාන්ත්‍රණය හරහා
මෙතන තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ සීනි බදු වැඩි කරනවා කියන ආරංචිය ව්‍යාපාරිකයෝ.
How did the businessmen get to know about the tax increase? How do they know that the price of tobacco is being increased? Even the cabinet is not aware of the tax increase. Only the customs know about this. Who leaked this information? An investigation must be carried out. This has been turned into a large-scale gamble by a certain group to earn unfair profits. The president, acting on this, imposed a maximum retail price for sugar, preventing such groups from making profits.
විශේෂයෙන්ම ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙලා තමයි වහාම සීනි වලට සිල්ලර උපරිම මිලක් දැම්මේ. දැන් මේ වලින් ලාභ ලබන්න බැරි වෙන්න.
Traders say that they cannot sell sugar at the government imposed maximum retail price.
රජයේ ප්‍රවෘත්ති වල කියන මේ මිලකට කඩවල වල ගන්න බෑ. දැන් මුදලාලිවරු ඒගොල්ලත් මෙතන ආපම ඒගොල්ලෝ වැඩි මිලට ගත්ත නිසා ගන්න නිසා අපිට ඒ ගන්න දෙන්න බෑ කියනවා.
පාලන මිලක් දාලා තියෙනවා 275ක. 275ට දෙන්න බෑ කිලෝයකට රුපියල් 25ක් විතර පාඩුයි. සීනි තියෙනවා. තවම තියෙනවා. 300යි 320යි එහෙම මිලකට තමයි යන්නේ. ඒ ගණන් අඩුවට නෑ. ඒ ගණන් තමයි පරණ ගණනම තමයි විකුණන්නේ.
පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ සීනි දැනට ගන්න විදියක් නැහැ. නමුත් අපි පාඩු වෙනගෙන හරි අර පාර්ලිමේන්තු මිලක් නිකුත් කරන නිසා ඒ ගන්නට ජීගෙන ඉන්නවා දැන්. අද මිලට රුපියල් 20ක් විතර පාඩු වෙනවා. නැත්නම් ඒගොල්ලන් අල්ලලා දඩ දානවානේ අපිට. අපිට තමයි ප්‍රශ්න වැඩි. මොකද අර කොළඹෙන් අපිට ගන්න එකට ඒ මිලට ගන්න බෑ.
The UN Secretary General has warned that no one is safe in Gaza as he reiterated his urgent call for a humanitarian ceasefire. He said Gaza was becoming a graveyard for children, with hundreds of boys and girls reportedly killed or injured every day.
The nightmare in Gaza is more than a humanitarian crisis. It is a crisis of humanity. The intensifying conflict is shaking the world, rattling the region, and most tragically, destroying so many innocent lives. Ground operations by the Israel Defense Forces and continued bombardment are hitting civilians, hospitals, refugee camps, mosques, church, and UN facilities, including shelters. No one is safe. At the same time, Hamas and other militants use civilians as human shields and continue to launch rockets indiscriminately towards Israel. The protection of civilians must be paramount. I'm deeply concerned about clear violations of international humanitarian law that we are witnessing. Let me be clear. No party to an armed conflict is above international humanitarian law.
The Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza says more than 10,000 people have been killed in the Palestinian territory since Israel started bombing it last month. More than 4,000 of those killed were children. The number surpasses the UN's figure of 5,400 killed in Gaza in all of Israel's previous conflicts with Hamas since it took control of the territory in 2007. Israel began bombing Gaza after Hamas killed 1,400 people and kidnapped more than 200 others on the 7th of October. It says it is destroying Hamas infrastructure and killing its fighters so that it will no longer be able to pose a threat to Israel. The UN, which is housing many of the 1.5 million displaced Gazans, says 48 of its sites across the Gaza Strip have been damaged since the war broke out.
Meanwhile, Israel's Iron Dome defense system has reportedly malfunctioned, with the system's missiles hitting Tel Aviv.
A video circulating on social media on Sunday showed one Iron Dome interceptor missile malfunctioning, targeting an area in the south of Tel Aviv. An essential part of Israel's missile defense system, the Iron Dome provides strong defense against short-range rockets while also enhancing regional security. Artificial intelligence in the Iron Dome is able to discern between rockets that pose no threat to human life and those that do, therefore allowing the effective use of resources. Israeli media reported earlier that the Iron Dome is ineffective against the rockets of the Lebanese resistance because of the very short reaction time. It was also reported earlier this week that Sirasa will no longer be protected by the Iron Dome system, and a correspondent that arrived in the area less than a kilometer away from the Gaza Strip said that the city is now a ghost town after authorities had evacuated its residents.
The official ICC Men's Cricket World Cup India 2023.
Mumbai's iconic Wankhede Stadium will be host to the face-off between Pat Cummins-led Australia and the Hazmatullah Shahidi-led Afghanistan on Tuesday. Today's match will have a significant bearing on the semis as Australia hope to continue their winning streak and Afghanistan look at improving their position in the points table. Australia will play against Afghanistan in match 39 of the ICC Men's Cricket World Cup. Australia, after having lost their first two matches, came back strong and won the next 5 consecutive matches. They have a chance of winning the coming 2 matches and finishing the group stage in the second position on the points table ahead of South Africa. Afghanistan is still in contention for the top 4, which will be historic for them as the Asian team could be a part of the semi-finals for the first time. The game between Australia and Afghanistan will start at 2 p.m. Sri Lankan time, and cricket fans can watch all the action live via the MTV MBC Media Network, the official local broadcast rights holder of the ICC Cricket World Cup. The matches can be viewed live on TV1 and www.sirasatv.lk and on TNL. In addition, the match will also be aired on YFM. And that brings us to the end of this edition of Lunchtime News here on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I've been Senator Sena Nayaka. Take care and stay safe.